Hey everybody, happy late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. At some point, you guys, I'm going to take advantage of those earlier times. It just didn't work out for me tonight. For that, I apologize. But for those of you that are here, I really appreciate it. Tonight, I think I'm just going to get right into it. So this afternoon, Orange County Sheriff John Mina called a press conference. It's never good when it's Saturday and there's an open case of a missing person in your area or anybody's area, to be honest. And I'm going to go ahead and play that press conference for you right now.
Earlier today, the Orange County Sheriff's Office Emergency Response Team was searching the area of TimberScan Apartments that's off of South Texas Avenue in Orange County. And that's when they discovered a body we believe to be that of Miya Marcano. About an hour ago, detectives notified Mia's parents of our tragic news. Our hearts are broken. I told you Thursday that hundreds of Orange County Sheriff's Office personnel were committed to this case and working very hard. Everyone wanted this outcome to be different. So why were we at TimberScan Apartments? So cell phone records showed us that Caballero was in or near the TimberScan Apartments on Friday evening between 8 and 9 o'clock. That's the evening that she was reported missing. And he was there for about 20 minutes. Nothing in the records indicate that he ever returned there prior to killing himself. So we sent search teams out first thing this morning. That's when they found what we believe to be Miya. And although we are very certain of the identity, the positive identification will have to come from the medical examiner's office. At this time, we cannot identify a cause of death, so I don't want to speculate on that. The most important thing right now is that unfortunately we have found what we believe to be the remains of Miya. So I know many of you were in New Smyrna Beach yesterday as we were there for a day and a half, and the reason we were so focused on that area is because, again, cell phone records directed us to that area and indicate the most activity in New Smyrna Beach. In fact, he was there Saturday morning of the 25th between 3 and 4 a.m. for about an hour in that area. So that's why we were there for so long and focused a lot of our efforts there. So, as a community, as a sheriff, as a father, obviously we are grieving the loss of Miya. Again, we can't imagine the pain and anguish that Miya's parents, their family, the loved ones, and the friends, and really our entire community have gone through and will continue to go through. On behalf of the men and women of the Orange County Sheriff's Office, we offer our deepest condolences to Miya's parents and her family and our loved ones. So I'll take some questions at this time. Start over here.
We found court records indicating that Caballero's family actually lived at TimberScan at one point. Can you confirm?
Yeah, so that's what I'm being told, that he had lived in TimberScan Apartments at one time.
So long to get to that TimberScan area. When did that cell phone data come in?
So the cell phone data came in for the phone a few days ago on Wednesday. And remember, we had asked for 6 months of cell phone data for Caballero, and that data put him all over Orange County, Seminole County, Volusia County. That night, he had been in downtown Orlando. He had been in the Paramore area. Obviously, he'd been in both Orange County near the apartment complex, at the other apartment complex in Seminole County, and of course, Volusia County. And again, the reason we were so intense and focused on the New Smyrna Beach area was because he spent the longest amount of time there. He was there for an hour in a marshy, wooded area.
If you can explain the circumstances, how you found the body, the time, and the details.
Yeah, so Mia was found, or what we believe to be the remains of Mia was found about 10:45 this morning in a wooded area uh, in the area of Timber Scan Apartments.
What exactly was it that led to her? Was it a dog that maybe had the scent? Was it someone who spotted something?
So it was members of the emergency response team as they were doing their walkthrough of that area, like you've seen us do in all of these 30 plus searches. They were walking and found what we believe to be her body. Uh, a purse with Mia's identification was found near the body as well.
I know you have been looking for the cell phone as well. Was that there? Did that help track it down?
So we are still looking for at least 2 cell phones and keys related to this case.
Have you reached out to her family at this point, and what's been their response? How are they holding up?
Yeah, so the family has been talking with detectives and victim advocates. Obviously, we're filling them in on everything that we have learned so far, and victim advocates are there to support them during this time until we have official notification, identification from the medical examiner's office.
Sheriff, there's been a lot of discussion about Caballero, but there's also just been some discussion about whether he had any help. Is there anybody else right now that you are focusing on in terms of a person of interest?
So we are not looking for any other people. We believe pretty conclusively that Armando Caballero is responsible for this crime, and there is not any other person or persons that we are looking for in this case.
Everybody good?
Sheriff, I know it's always hard to share that news with the family, but this family, their resolve has been relentless through all this. Talk to me about that phone call, that conversation, and if you yourself made it personally.
So our detectives were the ones who notified the family, and I can tell you, I've spoken to the family. I've spoken to friends of the family on a constant basis this entire week, and so have our detectives. And yeah, their hope and their resolve was something short of amazing, and or nothing short of amazing. And our heart goes out to them, and I can't imagine what they're going through. Like I said earlier, we're all fathers here and mothers, and we're going to grieve with them as well. We didn't want this outcome. We wanted something different. Of course, the men and women of the Orange County Sheriff's Office work so hard. And yesterday I was out in New Smyrna Beach with our emergency response team, and there's the deputies. They were covered in from head to toe in mud. Searching so hard to find her, and hoping for a better outcome.
Any details of what exactly happened, the circumstances? Is there a chance that we never know what exactly happened to Mia?
No, I think we'll be able to piece together pretty good what happened, because we know that he entered her apartment 4:30. We know that he was at Timber Scan Apartments, now where we believe she was found, between 8 and 9 o'clock. Before before we even responded to the scene. So obviously there's still an autopsy that needs to be done. So we'll be able to piece together, I think, exactly what happened. And I do think that he was trying to throw authorities off the trail by going all over the place, by going up to New Smyrna Beach, maybe in an effort to possibly get away with this before he took his own life.
Of the investigation you're doing, if you can explain.
I'm sorry, one more time.
The next steps for the investigation, if you can explain.
All right, so the next steps, obviously, will focus a lot on the autopsy and exactly what happened. And then again, we have a pretty good timeline. We think what has happened, but we're going to shore up that timeline to find out exactly what happened in this case.
And it was detective or any who found the body, who are who found.
Yeah, so members of our emergency response team, they're specially trained to do these searches. So like you've seen from some of our footage, they kind of line up at arm's length, and they do these large searches of these areas, and they walked up on her and found the body. Well, like I said, he had been all over Orange, Seminole, and Volusia County. So, as a matter of fact, there are several other places that we still have to search to locate evidence. So it's just a matter of searching all these different areas.
Any other county at this point, or it's been just Seminole schools?
Yeah, it's still just Orange, Seminole, and Volusia County is the focus of our searches. Yeah, to my knowledge, yes. All right, thank you.
All right, so you heard it. It was a very sad Saturday afternoon when I heard or I saw that they were going to do a press conference. Was on the phone with somebody, got off the phone, listened. After hearing the news of Miya, I was distraught. I don't think I've ever honestly been so distraught. I don't know why. I don't know why it's this case. And then I started getting angry. And then, of course, now this is what I do is true crime. So I'm thinking, well, I need to get this on my social media. I need to, go around and do all my things. If you look at my posts, they're horribly written. There's grammatical errors, spelling errors, weird autocorrects. Clearly was not in a good headspace. It took me until about, I would say, 5 o'clock this afternoon to regroup. I wanted to get out of the house, and we needed to go to the grocery store, so I took my Christian with me. He's 11, and we did our little grocery shopping, and we came home. We made dinner. We all ate dinner together. We played a fun game on Alexa while we were eating, and I wish I could tell you. It's like it's called Akinator. It's really cute. It's fun. It's kind of like 20 questions, but it's really good. Let's see, what else can I tell you? Really. So I'll share this with you. Actually, I'll tell you about the dinner conversation later if you want to hear about it. It's pretty funny, and I will just tease you and tell you it's something about a dirty garden utensil. So there's that. We watched Jungle Cruise on Saturday. We spent time with the kids, and we all watch movies as a family. It's awesome if you haven't seen it. I loved it. I highly recommend that you buy it on Amazon Prime, because if you do the Disney early release, you don't own it. So that's just a little thrifty tip from me to you. And I'm telling you all this because when I was sitting with the kids and my husband on the couch, and we all had blankies and watching a movie and stuff, we always call it the pumpkin patch. Like, we're chilling in the pumpkin patch. And I started to feel really guilty for being happy. And then I didn't want to come on tonight because I was flipping between being sad and feeling guilty for like having these moments with my family. But ultimately I decided that I owe it to Miya to follow through with her story, and I am committed to do that. It's not fair. This upsets me to no end. I'm angry and hurt. Missed birthdays, graduations. Actually, I'll bring Gabby into it too. Trips of a lifetime, getting married. We don't have one more day on this earth. But here's the thing. I decided, probably around 11:30 that I would come on tonight, because those two women, like so many others that we hear these stories about, they don't have another moment on this earth. And they were robbed of one more day, one more hour, and would probably give anything to have just one more second. And so I'm not honoring them or myself by not continuing to try to make memories with my children, with my family, with my, my friends, and doing things that I want to do in my life and savoring every moment. So that was my little takeaway from today. So I haven't even looked at the chat. I'm going to flip back over there and look at it right now and see what you guys are saying. So sorry, I got a little worked up for a second, but it's the truth. It really is the truth. I don't know why I don't know why Miya got to me like she did, but she did, and I maybe it's because I feel like there's so many things that go into this case. I don't even want to call her a case. There's so many things that work into her tragedy and her end story that I think could have been preventable. So, maybe that's why I get so frustrated when I hear these things. What is Cindy S saying? Miya and Gabby will want you to spend the time with your family, treasuring those moments with them while you can, living the life they can't anymore. Cindy, that's what I wanted to say. I just couldn't articulate it tonight. Yeah, and I will tell you, I did talk to briefly. I had a brief text session with Diamond, who was on the other night. I don't want to say her name to exploit her, but I did talk. She did reach out to me today. She's just having a hard time. I'm going to meet up with her next week. So as long as she's okay with it, I'll keep you all updated. I know you've asked about it. One of the things that I want to talk about with Miya that really bothers me is I'm going to run through her timeline just really quick, and I'm going to try to keep this kind of short tonight because I was emailing Ping at 5 o'clock in the morning talking about trying to figure out why there were helicopters and trying to figure out, he has my address so he knows, and trying to look at maps and stuff. And ultimately, I think that it's because they were looking for Miya. They didn't find her till 10:45 this morning. I do believe that's what all the helicopter activity was last night. So, anyway, so I didn't get a lot of sleep either, and I'm probably not making a lot of sense, so I apologize. But let's run through Miya's timeline real quick. So, Miya was okay. So let me look at my calendar because you guys know how I'm so bad with dates. It is just a thing in my head, and if I say it wrong, you got to yell at me. I'm telling you, hold me accountable, and I'll probably get a little defensive, and not even gonna lie, because I'm like thinking I'm looking right at it. Okay, so Miya officially went missing on Friday, September 24th. So here's the deal. She lived in an apartment complex called Arden Villas, and she worked in the leasing office, and she also lived on property. And she was a student at Valencia College here in Orlando. So Arden Villas is owned by a property management company called Priest, and they specialize in collegiate housing. So most of the residents of a property like Arden Villas are going to be university students. There's 3 major universities in that area within like maybe a 10-mile radius. UCF is the biggest one, University of Central Florida. It's probably the main entrance to it is probably less than a mile down the road because it is right off of University Boulevard. Then you have Valencia College and Full Sail University. So mostly college kids. So Miya works in the leasing office. She's supposed to work until 5 p.m. that Friday. And then later on that evening, she's supposed to board a plane and fly back home to Fort Lauderdale, where her family is, for a visit. She never got on that plane. immediately her family was, they were very reactive, and they ended up coming up to Orlando to try to locate her because it was not, that's like a 3.5 hour drive from 3 hours, 3.5 from Fort Lauderdale to where we are in Orlando. So they do this. They start the ball rolling. They're, trying to check for things. They get the sheriff's office involved. Late Friday, early Saturday morning. Now, I'm telling you this because when you hear Sheriff Mina in the press conference say or explain how they located Gabby's body, they ordered 6 months worth of cell phone data for the person of interest, who was Armando Caballero. So they were going through his phone bill and his locations and noticing that there were 2 places that were only frequented one time in that 6 month period. One of those was New Smyrna Beach, and the other is the area where she was found. So the area where she was found, he was there between 8 and 9 p.m. on Friday the 24th for about 20 minutes. She was, interestingly enough, she was found near her purse and her ID, but they are still trying to locate actual cell phones and keys. Specifically, whose keys, we don't know at this point. And so the law enforcement gets involved late at night. The family's out on the property. They actually run into Armando, and he asks them, like, oh, are you looking for Miya? And they don't know who he is and whatever. And they mention that he's carrying this duffel bag. And it's just, it gives me the chills that they were standing across from him. And he knew where she was right then. It's not until Monday that we have a person of interest. They found out that at 4:30 p.m. on Friday the 24th, someone accessed Mia's apartment with a master key. Armando Caballero had access to that master key. It is believed that he entered her apartment and waited for her. One of the things that we learned along the way is that Armando had made romantic advances at Miya several times, and she had declined very politely but strongly. It is said that her coworkers were aware of it. Now, whether or not it went to management, I don't know. Why it didn't, I don't know. But honestly, the part of this is one of the things that really distresses me. Not only that, but that you'd be able to check out a master key and not have a work order, not have written permission, and just walk into someone's apartment. You have that kind of access where you could just do that. But we talked about that the other night. So that's that. So let's see. Monday, they get an arrest warrant for Armando. He's a person of interest, and they're going to bring him in on burglary. I can't say that word, you guys. Burglary. The Hamburglar. Why can I say Hamburglar and I can't say burglary? I don't know. Anyway, so they're going to bring him in on that because entering her apartment with the master key without a work order or written permission is B&E, breaking and entering. So they go to pick him up on that, and they discover that he is deceased and that he caused his own death. I'm using YouTube terms here. We all know what that is. So we don't know how he did it. Then we go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's a vigils. There was a beautiful Catholic service last night. And then we wake up this morning and we're living our lives, and they found her. So very, very tragic ending. They are going to continue to investigate this case. They have to wait for the autopsy. They have to wait for the cause of death to come back from the medical examiner. I think you heard John Mina say that, they're committed to tying up all these loose ends. I don't want to criticize the police too much. The family of Miya really rocked and rolled this case, put a lot of pressure on a lot of people, and the FBI got involved late, which I was surprised at. I know they have to be invited in most of the time, but in my opinion, when you have somebody, it looks like an abduction. Her apartment was in disarray. There was blood on the windowsill. There was, just some other things going on, and they've had the access to the apartment before she was off work. All of that together, I would think that would immediately, I hate the word upgrade, but escalate her case to missing and endangered. And at that point, the FBI should have been there, and they could have done that, in my opinion, because, I think I know it all. Sorry, guys, I really don't. I'm just joking about that. But, I don't know why they didn't have them in on Monday, especially after they found their person of interest deceased. That was pretty bad. Okay, you guys are giving me some other alternate names. So anyway, I'm going to lighten the situation, and then we're going to go, we'll go back and we will talk about Gabby Petito and Roberta Laundrie and what's going on over there. So, all right. Do you guys want to hear my dirty garden utensil story? I don't know if people really want to hear about my life, or they just want to hear about true crimes. I don't want to bore you. No. All right, so I'll tell you. One person. Oh, that's all I need. I just need one person to say yes. Stop. Oh, I guess I could take off my Twitter page, huh? All right. So Christian, who's 11, he's our he's got a little bit of materialism going on, and he wants a lot of things and a lot of stuff. And we're just not the kind, his dad and I are not the kind of parents that just buy children whatever they want. They get things for Christmas and, the regular. And we don't really do allowances so much, because we do treat them here and there to things. And we tend to think about like everybody in the family kind of working together to clean the house and to do those type of things. And those are called responsibilities. So, but they get money here and there or whatever, especially if there's something like I don't want to do. I'm the one that will like pull out a wallet and say, remember that chili I made 3 weeks ago? Well, it's in a crock pot and I can't open the lid, and I will give you $5 if you go outside and wash that out, because I don't want to dry heave. And I do forget about things like that sometimes, and it's terrible, and I'm definitely working on it. Roberta Laundrie probably would think I was a horrible person for wasting, but I really don't give a shit what he thinks about me. So there's that. But I digress. Sorry about the language. So we're sitting at dinner, and Christian had gone over to a friend of ours' house and helped like pull weeds or something a couple weeks ago, and our friend paid him, like $15 to do it, and he was all excited. And of course, he just like wants to run off to the store to buy what he wants. So all day, he's talking about what can I do for money? What can I do? We're trying to figure something out. But then we're like, we want him to save money, so we don't want to give him money right away. And it's this whole thing. If you have kids, like it's just a mess. You never know what to do. So anyway, he's like out of nowhere, like he's talking about something, and then he flips back to this working for our neighbor. He's like, yeah, well, when I went over there, he gave me a rake and then he gave me this hoe and he's like, he gave me this really big hoe and he kept pushing this big hoe on me and I didn't want it. And he kept asking me why I didn't want the hoe. And of course, Chris and I, my husband and I, are immature. So we're like giggling, right? And I'm like, well, why didn't you want the hoe, Christian? And he's like, because it was a dirty hoe. He's like, and I don't do dirty hoes. He's like, if I'm going to do a hoe, I need it clean. So Chris and I are like trying to catch our breath, and it's this whole stupid thing. And I look over, and Isabella, who's 12, is sitting beside me because we're like sitting. We were sitting at like a breakfast bar to eat dinner tonight. We didn't really sit at a table; like we just sat at like the high bar, So we're sitting in a row, like we're at Starbucks, looking out the window. And then I can, out of the corner of my eye, I see Isabella like laughing, and I look over at her, and she puts her hands over her eyes, and she like smiles. And so Christian excused himself from the table or from the counter or whatever, and he like went to go do something. So I immediately look over at her and I say, "What are you laughing about?" I said, "What do you know about dirty hoes?" And she goes, "Well, now I am starting to think that you and Dad have been having secret jokes for a very, very long time." And she's like, "And I know what it is. I know I'm not supposed to be one and I'm not supposed to hang out with one. And that's where I'm going to leave it." I was like, oh my God. Okay, so Chris and I bantering and joking and laughing at the kids and having our own little thing is now gone because she's losing her innocence. So anyway, it's not hilarious. I thought it was funny, but apparently we're going to have to be careful when we talk about, bags of balls at sporting events, and you know what that is, and things like that. So, damn it. My dog is staring at me through the glass doors. You can't come in here, baby, because mommy can't get up. Anyway, so let's move on. Let's just move on. It was really funnier when it was happening. I'm not good at telling it, or maybe I'm just like in this weird kind of mood tonight. I don't know. So I'm going to go back to doing this right here, and we're going to move along to Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie, Joe Petito, who is Gabby's dad, and Nicole Schmidt, who is Gabby's mother. So they have been very quiet, very respectful. They had Gabby's memorial. Obviously, they don't have Gabby home yet. And today, Nicole, Gabby's mom, tweets this. "Mama Bear is getting angry. Turn yourself in." At Joseph Petito agrees. Justice for Gabby, America's daughter. So, I'm just going to leave that up on the screen for a minute. This is kind of the first that we've heard from Gabby's mom. She's getting angry, and with good reason. And meanwhile, everybody and their grandpa, I don't know, and their whatever, are seeing Brian Laundrie. He's on the Appalachian Trail. He's in Mexico. We'll go back to Appalachian Trail because there was an article that came out in the New York Post where somebody's swearing that they saw Brian on the trail. And so, who knows? Funny thing, my sweet friend, and she's right up here. I've been looking for her. I saw her go by at one point tonight. The weird mom. The weird mom was talking to me today when we were discussing Maya. She sorry, let me do this. She calls Brian Laundrie Brian Foot, like Bigfoot, but Brian Foot. there's been a Brian Foot sighting, and it makes me crack up. It's I don't know why I think it's so funny, but I think it's like perfect. Brian Foot. So thanks for that laugh. And by the way, the Weird Mom has the channel, and it's so awesome, and she's really funny and great insights, and she has a background in journalism. So I highly encourage you to explore. I know most of you know her too from Trisha Griffith's channel, which is Web Sleuths, which I love, and I'm on there every once in a while, and that's where I know most of you guys from. So Weird Mom's connected in that way too, and so there's two kind of connected. We got the Weird Mom, we got the Ella Mom. So yeah, it's just a whole thing. So anyway, let's get back to Gabby. So it seems like Nicole Schmidt and Joe Petito are getting a little antsy about this lack of communication between the Laundrie family and law enforcement. And there's been some rumors that there is another indictment coming down now, whether it's to put the Laundries in front of the grand jury, or if it's, something else. But there's been a lot of buzz, and there's always a buzz. There's always a buzz, a rumor. Oh, they're about to do an arrest. Oh, they're about to serve this. But when the buzzing isn't 2 or 3 little bees anymore, and you're talking about African killer bee swarms, that's kind of what it's sounding like right now. So I would not be surprised if that comes soon. There were a couple of things on Twitter the other day that I was looking at. I know a lot of you follow Brian Enton. News Station Now had a story. I don't think I posted it. I'm going to look real quick. No, I didn't. Okay. It was an attorney from, I believe, Palm Beach County, and he was explaining some of the things that they could bring the Laundries in for, and it was the clearest that I've heard it explained before. He said that if they could prove, if a prosecutor had enough proof that Brian came home and told his parents that something bad had happened to Gabby, that if they gave him money, if they gave him a ride, if they helped him escape, if they lied for him, all of those things, yes, they can be charged for that. And that is opposite of what a lot of people have kind of led us to believe in the past. I thought I knew that too, but felt like I was having a crazy moment. So that also includes Cassie, his sister, because we all know, we talked about it last night, there is a little bit of a discrepancy in what she told ABC News and what we now found out. So she had told ABC News in an earlier interview, I believe it was on the 17th of September, that she hadn't seen Brian since he returned to Florida, and that she really wished she could talk to him. And I believe it was yesterday that now we know that's not true. Brian stopped by her home on the way home from Grand Teton or wherever he came from in the camper van. And she also visited Brian at the campsite at Fort DeSoto when he was with his parents on the weekend of, or it's actually not the weekend, but the 6th, I believe the 6th of September. So, for some reason I can't pull up this article, so I'm just going to do it a different way. And I'm going to go ahead and read this to you very quickly. All right, here we go. So this is from, let's see, the New York Post. Hiker believes he encountered wigged out Brian Laundrie on Appalachian Trail. Hiker Dennis Davis has no doubt in his mind that he spoke with a wigged out Brian Laundrie on a deserted road near the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina on October 2nd. You guys, I'm gonna lose it in a second because now I don't even know how my stream is still going because now my phone and the computer are saying no service. I can't even read you the end of this article, but this is the newest thing, is this sighting, which is actually like Saturday, right? Because it's officially Sunday the 3rd in the Eastern time zone. This man from Florida, again, is swearing that he saw Brian Laundrie tweaked out on the Appalachian Trail. So who knows? I don't know where Dog is or what he's doing. I kind of lost track of the rest of the day because I had to take my mind off of Miya and hang with my family. And so this is not, this is getting a little crazy. Yeah. Thank you for manifesting my Wi-Fi signal. I appreciate it. And I'm gonna try to fix this and chat along, and it just is what it is. This stuff is gonna happen. So give me a second. Give me just a moment here. I am going to see if I can do it this way. Okay, here we go. First of all, thank you for the sweet manifestation. It worked. So anyway, here we go. A Florida engineer is adamant he spoke with Brian Laundrie on a deserted road near the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina on Saturday morning. Dennis Davis's alleged encounter with the boyfriend of slain Long Island native Gabby Petito comes as police receive tips that Laundrie may be traversing the trail, the world's longest footpath. There is no doubt in my mind I spoke to Brian Laundrie. None whatsoever, Davis, 53, said. Doug the bounty hunter's daughter sent me an audio file of Brian's voice, and the voice was the same I heard. A lost and dazed man allegedly waved down Davis on Waterville Road, where the Appalachian Trail runs nearby the border of North Carolina and Tennessee. The Appalachians is understood to be an area familiar to Laundrie, who was previously reported to have once lived there by himself for months. The man believed to be Laundrie pulled his car. Okay, hold on. You heard that right. The man believed to be Laundrie pulled his car up alongside Davis to ask for directions to California using only back roads and refused Davis's suggestion to take nearby Interstate 40. Davis, a father of 4 currently hiking the Appalachian Trail, said the Laundrie look-alike acted skittish and rambled about being in a fight with his girlfriend. Davis says he believes if the man was Laundrie, he was wigged out from being on the run and the situation with Petito. He said, "Man, I'm lost." I said, "What are you trying to find?" And he said, "Me and my girlfriend got in a fight, but she called me, told me she loves me, and I have to get to California to see her." I said, "Well, I-40 is right there, and you could take it west to California." He said, "I'm just going to take this road into California." He was worried and not making sense. Davis did not immediately recognize the man as the fugitive until he pulled over and looked up photos of the outlaw on his phone. The man Davis cited drove a white or light-colored pickup truck resembling a Ford F-150 and wore a dark bandana on his head. Davis is frustrated. 3 calls to the FBI and 911 calls in both North Carolina and Tennessee have not been returned by law enforcement. I'm going to read that part again. Davis is frustrated. 3 calls to the FBI and 911 calls in both North Carolina and Tennessee have not been returned by law enforcement. Despite the road being dark, Davis said the headlights from both idle cars were sufficient to see the man at such close range. Obviously, as a father with a daughter, I want to do whatever I can to help the family find closure and get this guy off the streets, he said. Law enforcement is probably getting millions of leads on this guy, but I am not some goofball out there doing drugs in the middle of the night. I'm a highly educated professional. And I know that was the guy. There is no doubt about it. We have this lead, but no one's doing anything, not even a phone call. Laundrie returned to Florida from a cross-country trip with his girlfriend and travel companion, Gabby Petito, the 22 on September 1st. Laundrie remains the sole person of interest in this case. He went missing on September 14th, according to his parents, who only reported it to police 3 days later. There's an active warrant for his arrest on fraud charges for using someone's bank account. So, we're going to read this part again because I need to punish myself. There is an active warrant for his arrest on fraud charges for using someone's bank card around the time Petito disappeared. All right, so I want to be off of here, like, just so I have my sanity in about 20 minutes at the latest. I know I've just been blah, 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 blabbing. I want to know what you think about this sighting and this man saying that he has called 911 and he's called the FBI and nobody has called him back. I'd like to know if he's leaving tips, or he's sending photos. Did he snap any photos, anything like that? I don't know. I think it's very interesting that Brian, if this is Brian, he's driving an F-150. Whose F-150 is that? So Lily wrote, I see a tack hamster down here. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. My hamster is a pit bull. Okay. Lily Rose says, yeah, I think it's very possible. Hopefully she's funny to me and not the attack hamster. But that's highly possible too. So let's see. I don't know if it's rebred or rye bread, but I'll read this. My issue is that he hasn't received a call back. And when you're saying you're referring to Mr. Davis, who believes he saw Brian Laundrie on the Appalachian Trail. Yeah. That would concern me too. Weird Mom, I just read your comment. That's dirty. Dirty, dirty. Don't do that to me while I'm sitting up here. It's hard enough. And then, Rebred, you say, would they not follow up on all the leads? Yeah, you would hope so. Trish Garofalo? I don't know if he took a picture or not. I think it's weird that it's what part of the article was it? He said, okay, here it is. Davis, who is the witness. Davis did not immediately recognize the man as the fugitive until he pulled over and looked up photos of the outlaw on his phone. How did he know to look up photos? I mean, did he know about the Laundrie case ahead of time? That's where I'm kind of confused. Did he already know about the Laundrie case and then he saw this guy and then the guy asked for directions to California and he's all cooped out and Davis gets in his car and he's like, I'm going to look up that Brian Laundrie guy. Oh my God, that was him? Is that it? That's got to be it. It just reads weird. Good night, Max Plays. Thank you for being here. Oh my God, and that little goat is so cute. Ice Coffee says F-150s are too cool for Brian. I think everything's too cool for Brian. I think freedom is too cool for Brian, to be honest. Gabby's not on her little wanderlust finding herself trek anymore. And his little behind doesn't need to be on one either. Yeah, so Lily Rose, I think it would say if he got a photo or not, so I don't think he did. I don't think he did either. Pascal's wager. I don't get active till around 5 p.m. either. Hey, daylight savings started today, which suits me just fine. Well, it's because of everything that happened. But I will say, COVID kind of put me in this, like, I have a messed up circadian rhythm anyway. Like, I like to stay up all night, but COVID really did a number on me, because then it was like, we don't have to change out of our pajamas. We're doing virtual school and I can't work because I got to stay home, and we just put on fresh pajamas in the morning. This is amazing. It really wasn't. It was a sad, weird, funky time, but I still kind of have that habit sometimes if we're not going anywhere. Like, I get up and like make sure I brush my hair and brush my teeth and stuff, and we're doing stuff around the house, and I'm like, why waste good clothes? So yeah. Kimberly M says, leave no stone uncovered. They need to talk to him. Yeah, they do. It's disturbing that he says he hasn't had a call back. Tambra, I don't like that they are not returning their calls, but if they have a true reason for knowing he isn't in the Appalachian Hills, I hadn't thought about that. That is a really good point. Do you think they know with 100%, absolutely 100%, that he's nowhere near the Appalachian Trail? I don't know. I trust law enforcement, but there's some funky things going on here, and I don't want to sound like I'm criticizing them, but ultimately, that's what it is when I say this. I mean it respectfully, but we said this last night too. Did the FBI know about Fort DeSoto and they were holding it back and Dog exposed it and that's a problem? Possibly, but then why is the FBI just getting reports and looking into videos when they didn't do it before? I don't know. Trisha says, F-150, is that a jet plane? Dang, Brian is resourceful. No, he's not feeling fly like a G6. I'll tell you that. Or maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe he hijacked a plane. What is it from Blues Brothers? A school bus full of penguins? Something like that. But yeah, so Max Place, you were going to go to bed. I'm glad you stuck around to make a comment, though. You said it could be him. All leads need to be checked out. Yeah, everything. No stone unturned. So, I am so behind. So behind in the comments. What is Julian saying? Honestly, I'm shocked the local police hasn't returned a call back or at least checked the area. Yeah, I am too. I would think that if you could give a vehicle description, a light silver gray, F-150, Brian Laundrie driving it, possibly west on I-40 on his way to California. Yeah, it's not the most specific, but it would be remiss not to check it out. Yeah, at least a welfare check. But then I don't blame them for not running to North Carolina and Tennessee. Gosh. Okay, so it is Rybed, but Rhiannon is Ree, but answer to anything. I thought it was Rybed because I think I remember the Rhiannon thing because I have a good friend named Rhiannon. Let's see. What is Lily saying? The purchase of the burner phone with his mom was after they left the campground, so I'm not sold that he was left behind. This other guy may be right that he saw him elsewhere. What if the burner phone was a ruse by Roberta Laundrie? I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just working it out in my head. I didn't used to believe that the Laundries were that sophisticated, but now I don't even want to call it sophisticated. Calculated is the better choice of words here. Oh. Let's see. Penguin. Oh, but I don't know who you're responding to. So at Chris, I'm going to have to go back and look at Chris's comment. If I can't find it right away, then I'm going to have to. And I can't. I'm so sorry. What did you say? You said, yeah, they were probably lied to, but they know now. They should tell the law enforcement what Brian told them. And yes, something about, we're so sorry this is happening. Oh, so I'm grasping that maybe you think that Brian lied to his parents, and now they know that Brian lied, but now the Laundries need to come forward to law enforcement and say, hey, this is what he told us. We believed it at the time. We don't believe it now. Here's everything. And we are so sorry that it has come to this, that we weren't talking or what have you. I think that's what you meant. And I agree with you. I think that is a possibility. Kimberly said, I thought you said he looked up a wanted list. No, I'll read it again. It says, Davis did not immediately recognize the man as the fugitive until he pulled over and looked up photos of the outlaw on his phone. The man Davis cited drove a white or light-colored pickup truck resembling a Ford F-150 and wore a dark bandana on his head. And then let's see, Davis is frustrated. 3 calls to the FBI and 911 calls in both North Carolina and Tennessee have not been returned by law enforcement. Yep. And so apparently he knew of the Brian Laundrie story, and it must have hit him that, oh my gosh, I might have just talked to him. And then he was Googling his photos. And that's kind of how it worked. I hope I cleared that up. It cleared it up for me too. So this is true. There was a phone bought on the 4th, and that was before the camping trip in Fort DeSoto. Let's see. I'm missing out. Oh my God, how far behind am I? So far behind the chat. I'm just going to skip down to the bottom. Okay. So Lily Rose says, Brian is a good manipulator. I think he would have told them she's dead, but made it her fault somehow, like she went crazy or something. Otherwise, why would they help him so much and not talk? Well, I don't know why they would help him so much either, because if that is the case, what you just wrote, and I'm not like going after you, I'm talking through this, he would just need to pick up the phone and say, hey, I was in, Grand Teton with my girlfriend. She started freaking out. This happened. And she's deceased. I panicked and came home, but I can, tell you where or whatever. And then it would go from there. Why would you hide it? But I do believe he might have done something like that, like, lied to his parents, and maybe they want to believe the lie. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't understand the parents not cooperating. It is their Fifth Amendment right not to speak. I agree with that, but it's just so hard. And Moonlight View, if you want to talk about an impactful statement with very few words, he's a con. He is. Ping says, and the FBI has that phone as well, the new one he bought from AT&T. So you're talking about, there's a lot of controversy. The phone purchase wasn't a burner phone. It was a planned phone. And I do believe that the FBI has Brian's phone that he was using up at Grand Teton, and they also have the new phone. It's not a burner phone. A burner phone is a trash phone. You just throw it away. It's not registered to anybody. She went to the AT&T store, she meaning Roberta, and purchased a phone with a plan. So there's that. Queen of Swords. I like your profile picture. I would say Roberta is the driver behind Brian's protection. I bet she's the boss of the household. You might be right. He definitely seems like a mama's boy. But man, his dad is going along with this too. But maybe it's something like we saw with Cindy and George Anthony. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Cindy was running that family. Oh, this is interesting. I have a 22-year-old son. This is Pascal's wager. I have a 22-year-old son and would have handled it so different than them. You just got to face the stuff head on. I'd like to think that about myself too. They always say you can't judge somebody until you walk a mile in their moccasins. But I'm not covering for anybody. I swear, I'm really not. Not when it's, no. I think I can legitimately say I wouldn't cover for anybody. Oh, you're thinking, okay, Kimberly, I'm saying, I'm thinking they have another burner phone. They could. They could have had a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend buy one, just randomly for whatever reason. Let's see here. Oops. Julian. Remember the Chris Watts case? I do. Chris told Dad the same thing and they arrested him right then and there. Maybe the parents are fearing that. That's a good point. Chris lied to his father, he lied to his own dad in the room at the police station and said that Shanann was killing the kids and that they got into it and it got out of hand, and then, he ended up getting arrested right there. So, yeah. Good point. Kathy says mommies are usually overly protective of sons, mother of 2 sons. Again, until I'm in that position, I can't say. There's been, if I want to go back in my life and think about things I said that I would never do, and then I found myself in that position and it wasn't the way I had predicted, I don't know. But yeah, I think we're protective of our children in general. Carolyn Dillman, you're not late. You can always listen later. You're always on time here. We don't give out tardy slips. So I just thank you for being here. All right. Ping, are you being a sassy pants? He says, ask Trish about tin can phones, and no, she knows all about them from her cabin days. God. She had good phones. She just had horrible internet, poor thing. So, Trish has come a long way, baby. Long way. So, well, I think I'm going to leave you with this question tonight. It's a 2-part. Do you think they'll find Brian? Do you think there's a chance to find Brian? Do you think he will be found? And I will tell you that today my stance is that Brian Laundrie is alive because his parents are going through an awful lot, it seems, to protect him and not say anything. They must have some idea that he is alive somehow. Because they're not grieving. They don't seem to be grieving at all, in my opinion. So do you think he will be found? And do you think ultimately it's going to be his parents? Because I think there's some pressure coming down on them. I think they're, the same way they took Brian in on the financial charge, I think they're looking for something along those lines to pull the parents in. I do. And when they find it and they get it and they get that warrant signed, that's when they're going to drop the hammer on them and have the upper hand. And, this is really, really important. Tambra, You would think they were grieving for Gabby. You would, wouldn't you? Gabby was going to be their daughter-in-law. Gabby lived in their home. Gabby spent holidays with them. Gabby was going to marry their son that they seemed to be protecting. Okay, here we go. Lisa, I lost your comment, but she says they will, here we go. They will find him. Deandra O says, yes, I'm thinking that means yes, they'll find him. See, he's probably gone somewhere where you have to wear masks. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Twin Mom 2011. Oh, that's a cute pink fifth wheel you've got. Super cute. I'm on the way low percentage that he is dead. You know, last night, it's a possibility. It's a possibility he's dead. I just don't see his parents. Oh, of course, they're not talking. I don't see them as being worried. And two, I'm influenced by this. I've seen 2 former FBI agents that, interestingly enough, are women who both say that the actions of the parents, some of the things that have happened, lead them to believe that Brian is alive and they know that he's okay. So that's interesting. Let's see. The weird mom. The dirty laundries seem inconvenience, and that like gets me so sad or mad. Yeah, I know. They do. They're just pretty much like old people in Florida. Get off my lawn. I don't know why you're here. I'm going to call 911 46 times. Why are you bothering me? You know why? You know why we're bothering you? You know why we're sitting on your lawn? Because we're trying to figure out when the F you're going to say something and when you're going to cooperate and when you're going to help figure this out. Gabby's dead. It's a homicide. Your son was the last person with him. He came home from a 8-hour trip or something in her van, and nobody's talking. Yeah. Heard a rumor that I get a little ranty, so maybe that's what's wrong with me right now, and I need to go. Kathy Lynch, I don't think he's dead. I think the parents are hiding him. That's more and more where I'm leaning. So I kind of think about, like, I don't know how you guys form your opinions, but I kind of think about possibilities and plausibility, and I divide it into a pie chart. And right now, Brian being dead is like 10, and his parents knowing where he is and hiding him is about 80. So I think that's going to be it for tonight. I don't have Facebook groups, you guys. I do have a Facebook page. It's True Crime Sushi on Facebook. I'm very active on Twitter. I'm getting better and better at being active on Twitter. And my Twitter handle is, I'll type it right down here, is @CrimeSushi. Love to see you there. I like to discuss things. I'm also on Instagram, and that's True Crime Sushi. If you are viewing this video on YouTube on a desktop computer, all my social media is on my banner photo, the big long one that goes across the top in the corner. If you click in the right-hand corner, all my social links are there. I will start putting them in the description of my videos. I know that was some of the feedback I got the other night, and I have taken note. As I've told you guys before, any corrective criticism for me, I'm accepting of it. I've got to kind of find my groove, my niche here, what we're going to be doing. I will tell you Monday night, it's going to be around 7:30. It's going to be early. But I'm going to have a pretty interesting guest. What am I saying? Pretty? You guys, trying to hype myself. I'm like, it's going to be pretty interesting. Yeah. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be better than Cats, and you'll want to listen to it again and again. I'm going to have a wonderful guest who is opening her life to us and sharing some things, and that's all I'm going to say. You're going to be blown away. And the bonus on that is that this person is not only a dear friend of mine, but we were coworkers first. I was her boss, and we share a long history. And her story, I'm not going to tell you the subject yet. I'm just tease you a little bit. Her story is amazing, and I'm very proud of her for agreeing to do this. So please, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on Monday before Web Sleuths, and we'll all go over to Trisha Griffith's channel, the grand dame of true crime, owner of websleuths.com, and we will do the whole thing over again over there, but completely new topics and different personalities, different formats. I want to thank the people moderating for me tonight. Thank you so much for the people that are joining us that are new, like Smoky River. Yay. Thank you for being here. I clicked on the wrong comment. I do that sometimes. Catnip, it's nice to see you. Kitty Von Meow, I love that name. So if you're West Coast, that's got to be 4:30 your time. It's going to be early. It's just a timing thing. If that time changes, I'll let you guys know, but there's always the replay. There really is. So no worries. Do me a favor. I'm going to ask you all kinds of stuff to do. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so by hitting the red button down below. Also hit the notification bell so you never miss a live. And if you don't mind, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. I don't care. Just want to know how I'm doing on here. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to say see you later, alligators. And I will see you soon. When I learn how to do my outro. I keep it real, guys. You want to talk about true crime? This is some real stuff. Can't even find the comment I need to get rid of. Not get rid of, but you know what I mean. So let's do this thing again. I'm such a spaz. But one day, I will hit that milestone and it all goes smooth like butter.